NC State might just be figuring out this whole NIL thing. It was a massive night on Wednesday for the NIL Collectives.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Wolfpack Nation, welcome back to another episode of Locked On Wolfpack, free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, I'm Grayson Boone. Joining me is Kenton Gibbs. And Kenton, we had a massive, successful evening on Wednesday for NC State NIL Collectives. We had a joint event put on by both Savage Wolves and Pack of Wolves NIL. Basically, the two biggest NIL firms that have come to be here at NC State partnered up to host what they called an NC State football celebration. And from all the pictures I've seen, it was every bit of that. So they hosted this at Northridge Country Club. There were live auctions for prizes. They had multiple big name players in the building, current players in the building. They raised a ton of money. I'll bring up the picture on how much they raised here. This was posted by Chris Vernakes of Pack of Wolves NIL. They raised, these two collectives in one evening, $690,950. That is incredible, especially because NIL is a relatively new concept to try and grasp here in these past couple of years or so. An event like this can really get the ball rolling for a school like NC State.
Oh, I 1,000% agree. I 1,000% agree. And not only can it get the ball rolling, I mean, when you look at an event like this and say you put on one quarterly, right? Because if we're talking in business terms here, you're talking numbers, you're looking at nearly $2.8 million going into these collectives. I mean, if you host one, twice a year, you're looking at about 1.4 million, a little shy of that. This is massive. This is huge. This could be the difference in a lot of battles. And, at the end of the day, we always talk about on this show, it's not your X's and your O's. You can draw up the best plays all the time. It's about your Larrys and your Joes. And you get the best Larrys and Joes in this day and age with some NIL money. That's just that's the reality. Okay, not saying that you can't secure players without it, but it makes it a lot easier, right? Like it's not impossible to tame a lion without something besides your bare hands, but it makes it a lot easier. It makes it a lot easier. Same deal here.
Yeah, absolutely. And, mentioning again, NIL is such a new landscape that's being explored in so many different avenues by these collectives. It was awesome to see NC State do something that you haven't seen a whole lot of from these other schools, even though I know UNC is more or less copying what we have put on Wednesday evening. But this feels like an unmitigated success from everything I've seen, all the tweets of fans that attended, former players that went, took pictures. It looked awesome. The things that were raffled off, I understand. Well, I'll put up a picture of it in just a second. There's a custom-made Phillip Rivers painting that went for $80,000. That's insane. It's just, the amount of money that was raised in one evening through, I guess, the first of this kind of big joint event. It feels like, the ceiling only goes up higher from here. The bar can be raised, every year from here on out because of what a success it was, I guess, in year one of attempting such a thing. And yeah, Kenton, like you mentioned, getting these Jimmies and Joes, we just spoke yesterday about a Jonathan Paylor. Hello, if you're tuning in, Jonathan, we got a little cash here in Raleigh. We can make it happen. If that's what's near and dear to your heart, we can make that happen here. In addition to just money itself, you want to be able to make money and stay closer to home. We got that. You want to make money and be able to play immediately? We got that. We could take care of you. Alex Taylor, Terrell Anderson, I hope you're listening as well. A night like this is a big-time marquee board to all recruits present and in the future. NC State can get it done. And yes, we don't have, I guess you could say, SEC money, but nearly $700,000 in one night feels pretty good in year one of trying to do this type of thing.
And not only that, like you said, this is, having the legends back in the building. You know what I mean? Phillip Rivers is down there in Alabama coaching high school football now, but he stopped by with a message that the Pack is back. The Pack is back, which is, I find that patently hilarious. I would absolutely, that's one of those things that, wow, how easy, how frenetic, how amazing. But with that being said, it's great to have the legends around. Great to have the guys who are not always in the area come back and all that. And at the end of the day, when I'm looking at what we have going on here at NC State, it's very simple to say, hey, the money brings in the players and all that, but it's also the environment. It's also the atmosphere. It's also the having those types of guys and all that come back. I'd love to see some more Mario Williams around these parts. I believe he lives in North Carolina. I could be wrong, but I believe he lives in North Carolina now. I'd love to see all of those NC State legends, Manny Lawson and all them, come on back and do participate in these types of deals, because that type of involvement or engagement gets the fans involved. That type of getting the fans involved gets these, we go from 690 to who knows, maybe 750 or so, maybe 800 or so. And then you keep going from there and it snowballs into better players, more wins, which gets the fans even more riled up and lathered up and involved. You're right. This is a massive success. This joint NIL venture went swimmingly well for the first time. And I'm looking to see bigger and better things, because this was a great introduction of these two partners.
Absolutely. And I do want to talk about having some of these legends back in the building. Corey Smith was on top of it all night, tweeting pictures of things, interactions that he stumbled across. I thought this one was very cool between Phillip Rivers and our new offensive coordinator and Robert Anae. You mentioned Phillip Rivers. When you think of NC State football, he's one of the top names that immediately comes to mind. So it was very cool to see him in the building. I know he's been very busy having children, so it's nice of him to take a break to move through Raleigh to celebrate some NC State football. But a picture like this is very cool, because you would want to have such a legend be close to the program and interact with these big figures that are current to the program, like a Robert and I. Probably not doing this tonight, but maybe trading notes. Phillip can help influence the future of the team in this way. I also I saw another picture here from Corey Smith with Joker Phillips and Torrey Holt. Again, your best wide receiver in school history, hanging out with the wide receiver coach. And while I'm on the topic here, does Joker Phillips have it on right here? This is what a shirt.
I mean, I'll tell you this much. If you go back to the picture of Phillip Rivers and Anae, very NC State with the belt buckle and Anae's flannel, very NC State there. It just oozes that NC State spirit. But Joker Phillips won the night with that shirt there. Oh man. You said, did he have it on? He said, it's in me, not on me. This is just how I come on a daily basis. This is just how I look on a daily basis. I love it. Joker Phillips, that's a great shirt there. That's whole lot of red right there.
Yeah, I mean, he picked out the right night to throw that thing on. I mean, you really don't see a lot of Joker Phillips because he's kind of a behind the scenes coach as the wide receiver coach. But I'd like to see a bit more of his wardrobe if he's throwing this on at the football celebration. But yeah,
I'd venture to bet that he was influenced by Playboy Cardi there. I would venture to. Because again, I'm sure that he listens to a whole lot of red before.
That's a whole lot of red
games. That's what it is. That's what it is. He looks good. He looks good, man. He looks good.
But yeah, I mean, these legends interacting with current coaches, Torrey Holt and Joker Phillips potentially trading notes. That could be a big deal for these kids coming into the program in the future. Kind of off the cuff here. I've seen several tweets over the years of Nate Irving, famous linebacker from NC State, urging, he wants to be involved with this program. I think this type of event is such a good thing to involve these big names in our history with our current players and our fans and just our program in general. Keeping them close to the program is such a win for this program culture that we've been establishing in the last 10 years under Dave Doran here. It seemed like an amazing night to be a part of the NC State football program. Just an absolute win across the board.
Oh yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, again, you've got to show nothing but love and respect to this type of situation where we've got, like you said, legends showing up, legends coming back, and all that good stuff. And you talk about Nate Irving, you're talking about a guy who was one of the tops in program history in terms of tackles all time and all that. So these are, again, you're looking at guys who have meant a ton to this program, not just guys who have kind of come through and had a cup of coffee, whatever the case may be. You're talking about guys who this program is, like I said about Joker Phillips in the red, it's in them, not on them. And that's you love to see NC State lifers truly embody what we are and come back and give back in whatever way they can.
Yeah, it's going to be a very cool thing to watch here as this type of event inevitably grows in the next couple of years, possibly hosting it at the indoor facility to get even more people all gathered in one spot. Maybe you get some more players, some more past legends, just those interactions to further this culture that we're working on so far. I can't say it enough times. It seemed like a massive win for the program. So hopefully many more of these to come down the line. So now a word from our sponsors for today, LinkedIn Jobs. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have the best access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check in LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. They use simple tools like screening questions to make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience, so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. So what you need to do, go to linkedin.com/lockedoncollege and post your job for free. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. You find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Terms and conditions do apply. All right. And Kenton, coming next week, you and I are actually going to be in attendance down in Charlotte. The ACC Media Days, we've chosen the representatives for NC State. We have 3 of them. Not exactly a surprise, as they kind of are the 3 biggest names for 2023, at least I would say. You have linebacker Peyton Wilson, QB1 named by Dave Dorn and Brennan Armstrong, and our All-American corner in Aiden White. Kenton, are you surprised by any of these names here?
I am shocked, befuddled. I've been hoodwinked by all 3. No, I mean, this makes a lot of sense, right? Of course, most teams bring their QB. Peyton Wilson, like I said, he did the program a solid by coming back. I mean, I don't think there's anything more he can accomplish here in terms of like individual accomplishments. Of course, he can always achieve higher as far as team accomplishments goes here, but it was a great thing for him to come back. And Aiden White, he's not just one of the best players in the program. He's one of the best players in the nation. You got to take him with you wherever you're going. I don't care if he go get in front of the mic and say, "I'm just here so I don't get fined." Hey, we're gonna bring you to say you just don't want to get fined 5 times in a row.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm very interested to hear the answers for questions from Brennan Armstrong. I thought, in and around spring ball, I've heard him on a couple podcasts. He's very well spoken, even probably a lot more, articulate than I remember him being at UVA. I've really enjoyed, the way he's described his interactions in the team so far, how he's enjoyed being a part of this program and being ready to get started. I'm very interested to hear, we're about a month away from the season, his mindset now. I want to know how he feels about this season now. And especially, his relationship with Robert and I, and how they believe that the offense is progressing here, as it will be a new look offense for NC State here in 2023. So I'd certainly like to be able to pick his brain, see what he's been working on, without giving too much away, of course. But, you speak a lot about Peyton Wilson as well. Just been an immeasurable leader for this defense and this team here for 3-4 years now. And like you mentioned, Kenton, yeah, he did do us a big solid in coming back this year. I'd love to hear his mindset as well. How he feels about being the guy here. Past couple of years, he's been able to look to his left and look to his right, sees Isaiah Moore and Drake Thomas. Not the case anymore. He is now the main feature of the linebacking core. So I'd be interested to see maybe how his mindset has shifted, or the things he's most looking forward to this season.
Well, I'll say this about Peyton Wilson. Now, don't forget, before he started getting hurt, he was the guy. It was Isaiah Moore and Drake Thomas looking at him like, oh man, we gotta catch up to this guy, all that good stuff. But you're absolutely right? He's back in that mode of being like the guy. A lot like he was at Orange High School when he played there. And man, I remember watching him. I'm like, oh, he's different. He's one of those ones. It only took me about 8 plays in that game, not like 8 plays throughout the game. I literally mean 8 from the opening kickoff through 8 plays. I was like, oh, that's who he is. Because I remember I asked the guys in the press box, like, hey, which one's Peyton? And they're like, oh, you'll see. And I'm like, don't do that. And they could have did it. But in all seriousness, Peyton Wilson, he's looked like a man amongst boys at times. And when he's healthy, again, he's one of those ones. So the question for him is, can he stay healthy this year? Can he do good things this year? Or not, can he do good things? Can he stay healthy? Because if he does, he'll do good things. I don't have any doubt in my mind about a healthy Peyton Wilson. I'll put him up against any linebacker in the nation, and I think he gets the job done.
Yeah, and then the last one here, Aiden White. Off the top of my head, maybe I thought I was surprised by Aiden White being named here, but Kenton, you quickly reassured me. No, not only is he a premier player on this team, he's one of the premier players in the nation. And, he's one of the more experienced guys of this defense. And I love that he's being recognized in this way, because it's certainly earned after the season he put on for us last year in 22. And while we are expecting even more from him in 23, it's a big stage for him to level up his game further. And being a representative of NC State at ACC Media Days is just the first step of many to potentially an even bigger year for Aiden White.
And that's such a bad man. Those 4 interceptions, and I want to say, was it 12 or so pass breakups? Don't really tell the story. Don't tell the story, because it got to the point to where later in the season, nobody was throwing at him. Teams said, hey, we've got a decision to make, okay? Now there's this guy over here who hasn't given up a single touchdown against them all year. And then you've got a bunch of guys over here who at times they've shown to be a little bit more pliable. The math is going to math. The numbers are going to number every time. Stay away from that guy. And so with that being said, he has been, or he was an eraser last year. We're expecting the same type of thing this year in terms of like, hey, whoever their number one guy is, or whatever side Aiden White is on, we know that side's good. We're not going to be thinking about it, worrying about it, all that good stuff. And the only hope is that he didn't get the big head because of how great that year was last year. And he takes it to another level. And I'll tell you what, he played at a great level last year to where if he maintains that level, I'm elated, I'm ecstatic, I'm over the moon. But if he takes it to another level, that is in terms of going up a notch, that is something that would be a year of defensive back play I don't think we've ever seen in the city of Raleigh. I don't think we've ever seen it.
No, I mean, you might be looking at the likes of like a David Amerson type season if Aiden White takes it up a notch even further. And yeah, you mentioned like whatever side Aiden White may or may not be on. I'm always reminded of the fact that we have another super experienced guy in Shaheem Battle across from him. So, we've spoke about it a lot about how we expect a lot out of our cornerback play. But yeah, that is certainly spearheaded by, he was an All-American last year in Aiden White. So very well deserved for all three of our representatives in Media Week, or ACC preseason Media Week, coming next week. So certainly look forward to seeing them down in Charlotte. We're going to land this thing in just a minute after a quick word from our sponsors. All right, wrapping it up on this Thursday. Of course, we spoke a lot about the NIL joint venture evening we had on Wednesday night. Just a massive success. I skipped over the painting, so I want to show that to you now. Here it is. Pulling this up here. So this is a custom painting done at the event. I always kind of stagger at things like this. I don't even know how you possess the talent to make something like this on the fly. But yes, someone has successfully won this at a price of $80,000. And, not just taking home a cool gift, but that's a massive donation to the NC State NIL efforts. And yeah, these are the types of things that you can point. And, when you have a recruit coming to NC State for another visit, like a Jonathan Paylor at the end of next week, a massive night like this one, it could end up making a difference in these tight-knit recruiting battles that we're getting into here as the end of the summer is nearing. And, we talked also a lot about yesterday, the potential of a package deal if you get a Terrell Anderson and you're able to turn a Jonathan Paylor. What's stopping them from then grabbing Alex Taylor in the mix as well?
Yeah.
We have a three-headed monster in the 2024 class. NC State could pick up a whole lot of steam very quickly with the success of an NIL night like this one.
Yep, and you time it out, and their sophomore year, where the game starts to slow down a little bit, and they get a little better, would be timed perfectly with MJ Morris's junior or senior year. I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
You start to connect some dots there. You could get a lot of things to click very quickly. And if they click all at the same time, NC State fans say this a lot. Well, don't look out for us in a year or two. Look out for us a year or two. That's going to be our year. It never seems to feel that way, but it doesn't stop us from saying it anyway.
But
we could have a lot of chips fall in the right places.
And Paylor had the right idea in terms of saying everybody knows NC State has one of the best defenses in the conference. Now all they need is the offensive weapons to truly set that thing off. Well, let's set it off. Yeah. Let's set it off. Let's get it going. Let's get this thing rocking.
That's right. I mean, you said it yesterday. Well, come on then with it.
Come on.
We're waiting on y'all.
Hey, now, I promise you, Raleigh ain't going nowhere. The indoor facility ain't going nowhere. The Carter ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. They moved in what? 50-something years when it was down on Hillsborough. It ain't moved. It ain't moved since then. So come on with it.
You see us, we're adapting to the times with the NIL success. Stay home. Your playing time is readily available. What more could you honestly want than that right there? I mean, that feels like just about all the sales pitch you could ask for at that point.
I'll give it a little bit more sales pitch for the guys who are like Paylor and on the fence and leaning into NC State and thinking about where you go here. Think about it this way. If you win an ACC championship at NC State, you are not the first football team in 30-some-odd years to win it. You are the first men's sport out of all of the major 4 American sports that we have at a varsity level to win it in the last 30 years. There is nothing like it. There is nothing like it. So.
Instant legends forever to break the curse that has hung over our heads here for the last 30 years.
And I'm telling you, I did not play on the team at NC State that won the championship in that way, but I played on a team at first Division I state championships in the history of the city of Detroit. And I'm telling you, they literally named a day after us. We didn't. We barely were in class for the next 2-3 weeks after that, because every other day somebody was giving us some award, some trophy, saying how great we are. Now imagine that at a higher level, where all of a sudden you're in the same city as the mayor, or not the mayor, the governor and all that, and you've won one. Man, they literally paint this town red for you.
With a fan base like NC State to sprinkle on top of there, this place would absolutely lose it if we grab
Listen,
a title in the next couple of years.
And I'm not gonna lie, you know what I mean? Don't go to the bell tower and look for me there, because I'm not gonna be sober, and I may be flipping over a car. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. I may be doing that, and nobody's gonna stop me. So that's that on that.
You heard it here first. Kenton Gibbs will be leading the charge in the streets once we win a title in football in the next couple of years. That's going to do it for us here on Thursday. As always, thank you so much for tuning in with us. Drop us a like. Throw some comments in here. If you were at the NIL event, we want to hear your experiences. Let us know how it looked from your eyes. If you were following along on Twitter, let us know what you think. Having all the legends back in the building, all the money that was raised. Let us know. We want to know what you think, as always. And also, be sure to mash that subscribe button as well. We're on our climb to 400 and beyond. We want to keep this thing rolling. And so every bit helps. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And we're going to keep pumping out these episodes. As always, thank you, and go Pack.
Go back.